Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Harrison Talks Pod, episode 53. I hope you're having a great day today. I did skip last week. I wasn't feeling too well, but everything is as normal as it should be. So, welcome back if you're joining me again. And I hope you're having a great week and a great All-Star weekend. I'm recording this on Saturday afternoon or a very late Friday evening in America. And they just finished up the Rising Stars game. I saw VJ Edgecombe won I guess we call it the MVP, but I was working during it, so I plan to kind of watch the Rising Stars game later on after this. The Rising Stars is usually a pretty decent competition. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of which, I do want to start and do my first segment today on the All Star break. I did a similar one last year, but I was motivated to talk about it a little bit based on what Kevin Durant had said about the All Star weekend and the responses on that. So I figured since we're having a few days off from basketball, do a little bit of fun narrative talk. Why not? And then we'll follow that up. We have two teams in the East that are 9-1 in their last 10, and they have both very different situations, I would say. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who are 9-1 their last 10 and now have James Harden, and the Charlotte Hornets, who are 9-1 or 10-1 the last 11 and had their 8-game win streak. I will talk about the Charlotte Hornets today. One, we haven't talked about them in quite a while, and now's the time. And just an historic run they went on, going all the way back to the year 2000, I believe. But my research should be better on that, I guess. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Harrison Talks Pod is a part of SidePanel Network. Nintendo Therapy podcast will come out the same day that this podcast comes out, so you can check that out if you are a Nintendo or video game fan. I also have daily or almost daily uploads going up on my gaming channel. All of those links are in the description. So let's get started today talking about some NBA All Star Weekend. So, first off, if you're not an All Star person, I get it. I think the All Star weekend for any, at least American sport, should be optional. It should be more of whatever you have going on that weekend, but it's not consequential. So, of course, watching games that are consequential are a lot more important. And I have a lot of thoughts. Everyone's talking about the tanking issue in the NBA. I have a lot of thoughts about that, but tanking is not going to be going away this season, so we'll have time to kind of circle back to around that. It's an unfortunate situation. The commissioner should be doing more, but I'll digress from there. Let's go back to All Star Weekend. For me, I don't watch any other All Star. I watched the Home Run Derby. I like that if I can catch it, but never been into any All-Star games, and NBA is always optional for me. Like today, I missed all the festivities. I'll catch up on some later, but I might kind of skim through parts of it as well. Tomorrow night with the dunk contest 3 point, I'll check it out when I get a chance, but same situation. I'll miss part of it, and it won't be a huge deal for me. This All Star weekend is, I guess, different in a few ways. We had the 75th anniversary during All Star weekend recently, but this is the 75th year they're doing the All Star weekend. And I wonder if that would be consequential at all. Like, oh, 75 years, this can be the last year we do it. I still think that's an option that it just completely goes away at some point. It's in the Intuit Dome, which is pretty cool. It's back in Los Angeles. So, of course, we knew LeBron James was going to be in it. Kawhi Leonard, I guess, ended up in it, but I think he should have been picked above LeBron. But those were like really the only issues I had with selections this year. I didn't really have any other issues beyond that. And I don't even know how many players actually got picked overall when we factored in all the injuries and international and whatever it might be. So this year it is a round robin, which I think is a unique idea. I do, as I said, enjoy the Rising Stars games sometimes. We have USA Stars, USA Stripes, and then Team World. USA Stars has the average age of 24 and 8 months. Anthony Edwards, Kate Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey are all on this squad. USA Stripes, which I guess are being called the old heads. They should just call them the old heads. Why not? Why not? Embrace the culture. Veteran core combined, this team has 76 All-Star selections. LeBron 22, Kevin Durant 16, Steph Curry with 12. And then Team World, which I believe is well beyond the most talented of all of these. Nikola Jokic, Wembanyama, and then have some new players like Alperen Sengun. Karl Anthony Towns is going to be on this team. So it has the potential of being an exciting matchup, an exciting format. But we know that this All Star weekend has had issues for quite a few years now, and for most of us, it has gotten to be worse and worse to the point where you don't have to watch, and we have debates on whether it should just even exist with how it is in the first place. You can leave your comments letting me know what you think about that. So, I want to give my perspective a little bit, and we'll get into what Kevin Durant said. And actually, let's just talk about it now. So, Kevin Durant was asked about whether his team or the old heads team would compete. And if you're watching this, you probably saw it already, but I'll read it here. He said, "Go ask the Europeans and the world team if they want to compete." Because if you look at Luka and Nikola Jokic now, let's go back and look at what they did at the All Star game, at that competition. So we have a question what they've been doing, but we're going to question old heads and Americans. But these two dudes out there, Luka and Jokic, they don't care about the game at all. They're shooting half court, but you got to worry about the old heads playing hard. I can read between the lines, bro. I'm just thinking about the times. I'm just saying that I can read between the lines. And it's not just about you, it's just an overall topic that everybody's talking about. So I find this to be unique in a couple of ways. I'm not 100% agreeing with Kevin Durant on this, but I respect his perspective of I respect it above my own. I mean, he's an NBA legend, let's face it. So, I understand when he's looking at criticisms, he might be hearing more harsher criticisms about older veterans, or maybe it is more about the American players, but that certainly hasn't been my experience. It's more of a collective, no one cares. Like perhaps the Europeans care a little bit less, but that's only a little bit less than not caring. It's like caring, not caring, and then not caring even more, pretty much, is kind of how I see it. But if you're an NBA fan and you know about Kevin Durant, you know his antics, you know how he is. I mean, he trolls and he plays basketball. And honestly, if you have an issue about what he said here, I would just ask what sort of messaging you want players like KD or you want KD to put out. Because I heard it, I thought it was kind of funny, and I think it just creates more eyeballs and it could create more competition, but I have doubts. I have doubts on whether players take it seriously. But I have to say, I have no problem with him saying this because he hears the blame get put on players all the time. And that's a part that I want to circle back to now because players should have blame for the effort, but I don't think that it can start and end with the players, with how this game, how this league, and probably above all else, how this business has evolved. All Star Weekend is about making money. And franchises want to win championships, but they also need to make money as well. And I heard Brian Windhorst bring it up about how the contracts from 95, I wrote down 95 to 2005 had, no, 2006 to 2016 had a rise of 40% in their contracts. 2016 to 2026, the max contract rose by 240%. So, again, I understand we can blame players for not wanting to take the All Star game or weekend seriously. And we can say that's your job. You have one job. But at the same time, I'm not hearing from front offices that they want their assets, their players to be taking these games seriously. And I know that a lot of franchises would bail on about 99% of the players in this league. It's the same league that Luka Doncic got traded last season. If he can be traded, I think anyone else pretty much can. So, um, I'm always a little bit mixed, but I usually take the pro player empowerment stance in these situations because these franchises, these businesses see their players as assets and they're assets that control a lot more of their money and their salary cap. So until I start hearing more solutions from the front offices about what they want to do, the solution could just be get rid of it. I have difficulty with understanding what level of intensity we should expect from the players in this weekend. There's that part. There's also the part of social media as well, which I've really been considering. Things are just different, and of course, any older player, if they were to play today, would be impacted by social media in some capacity. Perhaps they don't. Perhaps Michael Jordan, if he played today, wouldn't pay attention to it, or he wouldn't be on it, but he would certainly be criticized for it. And I wouldn't make that a justification for not playing well, but I certainly understand it. Considering that if you are looking at yourself as a brand and you're looking at your business and you're thinking about this weekend, you're thinking the upside is not that great, but the downside's pretty bad. The downside is a meme. If you go out there and you embarrass yourself at the slam dunk competition. Perhaps people forget, but that can live on for a while. You have a great performance. You have the best performance at an All Star game. I can think of some really good ones. Steph Curry a few years ago, but I can't remember what season it is. Um, it just won't really matter too much considering that these are All Star level players. These are players that usually have lots of accolades. So that's the other part, and I'm kind of still going back and forth as I talk through it here. But anyways, what else is different? fans from 56 countries, 50 languages, and I saw that Adam Silver has invited out a lot of content creators for the weekend. So if you see any of that as steps forward, then whatever. So, in response to what Kevin Durant said, I saw that Stephen A. Smith argued that it's everyone being criticized. I agree with that. It's not just Americans, and there has been a flagrant decline in effort. And the leaders, Kevin Durant included, should set the tone of that weekend. And of course, we know there's an issue because the format just keeps changing. So I've kind of said my part on this. I kind of disagree because I would like Stephen A. Smith to say what kind of messaging would you like from Kevin Durant then? Because we talk about competition a lot. We talk about how everyone's just buddy buddy with each other, and why not have Kevin Durant throw some shade at somebody else, even if it's accurate or not? And he called out Luka and Nikola Jokic. Uh, just a reminder that Luka Doncic was interviewed during the All Star game, and that was a decision made by the league that that would be a good idea. And that wasn't Luka's idea, but that was uh, a pretty bad idea overall. I saw Brian Windhorst, who I mentioned. He brought up the contracts, the assets, all the risk involved with that, and he also brought up the what should we call it? The Kobe cultural enforcement. That's what we'll call it, and I think there is part of that as well. If someone like Kobe Bryant or Kobe Bryant were playing now, he would most likely be holding more players accountable. But I have a question of how accountability works nowadays. So I'll kind of leave it there because, I mean, as I said, post 2016, next contracts have gone up more than 200%. So, yeah, if Prime Kobe was playing today, he'd be making almost $1 million per game. So, how much and maybe playing on on like a championship level team, you don't want to get injured also. So, perhaps it's different times, different trends, and different media, I guess, is the way I'll just sum all of this up. And I hope that I can just kind of present a middle ground. There are plenty of criticisms I would make of players not playing their full effort or players um maybe it's making too much money. I don't really know, but I don't think it's up to the players to actually find the solution of this weekend if it is not working. And the front offices that they play for should be more aligned behind their assets, their players, I should say. I call them assets in this case. They should be more aligned with their players in the situation as well. Because I see a lot of finger pointing with every franchise. I don't think any franchise is immune to that. I think with every franchise, finger pointing towards players when there were front office decisions that were made that resulted in whatever that complaint might be. All right, I've vented too much. Let's do some basketball talk. Let's talk about the Charlotte Hornets. So, as I mentioned, the Charlotte Hornets have been super exciting recently. It's like the talk of the league, and we need a lot of positivity right now. Hey, shout out to Cam Thomas. Speaking of positivity, shout out to Cam Thomas on the Bucks, 34 points. Uh, just an amazing shot creator. What the hell happened there? Anyways, I have to digress. We're going. we're staying in the East. Talking about the Hornets, had an 8-game win streak that went all the way back to the year 2000. They are 10-1 in their last 11, and even the game they lost is the game against the Pistons, which everyone was talking about because 4 players were ejected. So um, that was a tough loss against a first place Eastern Conference team. They lost against the best team in the East. They are currently sitting ninth in the East after starting 15-28 on the season. And there are only 5 games now that are separating 7 and 12. So we are looking at a Hornets team which could very easily be in the play-in tournament. And looking at some numbers, the first, what would I say? 43 games. The first 43 games and the last 11 games. They start out the season, net rating +2. They're actually in a positive net rating. The last 11 has jumped to 10.2. Their point differential is plus 10.1 in the last 11 games. Their defensive rating has improved to 108.7. That's great. Their opponents are shooting slightly worse, and their opponents' points per game in the last 11 is at 105.4. Early on in the season, 15-28, lost a lot of just bad games, allowed 130 points on multiple nights. There were nights where their opponent's offensive rebounding percentage was above 30%. So, especially the rebounding numbers, they have improved greatly since the beginning of the season. In the last 11, they held Philadelphia to an offensive rating of 91.2. Their opponent's field goal percentage in the last 11 has been 44.8, including 34% from 3. It's been great. Their defensive rebounding has gone up. Their points in the paint allowed has gone down to 47.1. So just a lot of tighter possessions on both ends of the floor. And a lot of big performances from their top players, from their big rookie, and from a lot of their role players as well. They have slowed down their pace slightly to 97 possessions per 100. Their 3-point frequency has gone up slightly, including their 3-point percentage, which is right at 40%. So I don't know. Is it the Kai Knippel effect? Can we call it that yet? I hope we do one day. And their scoring in the paint has remained strong. For example, they scored 50 points in the paint against the Magic, 56 against the Sixers, 52 against the Grizzlies. So they are finding ways to score on the inside and outside, and they are not settling as much. They are getting into their half court offense a lot more. So, not the team I was paying attention to as much in the beginning of the season for a lot of different reasons, but it's nice to see that not only has Nipple worked out, which is an amazing story, but I just think they're playing a more mature, mm, more mature, more cohesive brand of basketball, I would say. So, LaMelo Ball actually has remained pretty consistent, but his numbers have gone down slightly, which is no big deal. I mean, for the season, he's at 19.3 points per game. In the last 11, it's almost the same at 18.9. True shooting percentage is dipped slightly. His assist percentage dipped slightly to 35%, but his net rating has gone up by a whole bunch at plus 16.9 in the last 11. So his efficiency numbers haven't increased by a whole bunch, but he's making the right plays for his team and he's making a lot of big shots for them as well. It's not just LaMelo Ball, and I still have questions about the future when it comes to LaMelo Ball and this team. Will it be centered around him in the future? And is LaMelo Ball someone you want to center around when you're looking to the future of this very young Hornets team? Nipple is averaging 18.9 points per game, 43% from three for the season, 65% true shooting percentage, and it's only gone up in the last 11. In the last 11, 44% from three, 67% true shooting percentage, and he's been Rookie of the Month 3 times now. He is very close to a 50-40-90 season, which I don't know if that's has it been achieved? I always do this when I record where I'm asking myself questions. I don't think there's ever been a 50-40-90 rookie season, but leave me a comment if I'm wrong. Fact check me, please. Don't think he's rookie of the year with the way Cooper Flag is playing, just unbelievably. But this has to be maybe the biggest surprise we had out of the draft. Hard to say. We'll circle back to that because Cooper Flag is someone myself and a lot of people followed closely, and he's still way better than I thought he'd be as a rookie. Nipple, no idea this was going to happen. Just broke a whole bunch of rookie shooting records. Well, very exciting, can be trusted defensively in the clutch, and has helped the Hornets half court offense by very much. They were last in efficiency last season, and they are now 17th, which is not good, but much better. Much better than last, isn't it? Brandon Miller, speaking of efficiency, 20.6 points per game on the season. In the last 11 has gone up to 22.2 and a plus 17.4 net rating in the last 11 as well. He has made 53 straight free throws. That's pretty good. That's pretty interesting. So decision making is better, cleaner shot selections, better defense, better energy. Honestly, a player that I need to pay attention to more. Not only just like as a Hornets team, but Brandon Miller is someone who I think is finally just putting. I should say finally. He's so young, but he's putting everything together. I mentioned Diabate, who is out right now. he's he's uh he's suspended right now. His net rating in the last 11 is 22.2. So, and true shooting percentage, I think he's leading at 71.1 in the last 11 and had a big spike in rebounding during this streak as well. Josh Green is shooting well in limited minutes. Colin Sexton is shooting 39% for three for the season, but has shot 50% in the last 11. And the bench units are holding those leads very, very well. So, top to bottom, we're seeing their star player, rookie players, starters, role players. They're all stepping up. I do think, of course, this team has their own limits this season, and I think they realize that as well. Are they happy with where they are, considering with where this draft is? I hope so. Considering that so many teams are not trying to win games, it's good to see that this team is trying to make improvements. As I've mentioned, they are currently in ninth place, 5 games between 7 and 12. They are 2.5 back of Miami, 3 back of Orlando, and 5 back of Philly. So with 30 games left, I would imagine they're in the play-in, but they could start losing and be out. Or I think I think that the highest chance they would have realistically is the 7th spot. But Hornets in the play-in would be great to see. And if we could get a Pistons Hornets first round, 1-8, which I know a lot of people have been throwing around, that would be great to see. That would be good competition. So, it's definitely achievable, and hopefully with the draft situation this year, that is progress that they are happy with. But Hornets fans should realize that that is pretty much the reality. The Eastern Conference is up in the air this season for who is going to win at the top, and the Eastern Conference still is, yeah, it's still less competitive towards the middle and bottom than the Western Conference. So hopefully they're looking at it incrementally and saying, if we can get into the play in this season, there's a chance next season we can be even further or out of the play in one of those top 6 spots. It's tough, it's difficult, but that's what I would be looking towards if I was a Hornets fan. Like, we're not going to win this season, but it's certainly nice that we're being talked about and there is some relevancy there. So, let's leave it there. Again, the Cavaliers are in fourth. That was a little bit more predictable. We'll talk about them more. But I'm sure with James Harden, we'll have more to say as the rest of the season goes on as well. I hope you have a great week. If you're watching All Star, I hope you have a great All Star week as well. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, share the pod with an NBA fan, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you then.